Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. I'm doing okay, just a little bit. I think you can hear it in my voice. I'm a little bit under the weather. I don't know what's going on. If it's just feels like there's some kind of cold going through my whole family. So just have to deal with it, right? That's patience, acceptance. Let's see what other mindful attitudes. Letting go of expectations of what I think I should be doing. Seeing if I can look at this with non-judgmental awareness and just have wisdom to be able to continue on with my life as it is without you know knowing that I'm not feeling well, right? So this is something that I think it's just useful, I think, not to have too high of expectations for yourself all the time. And I guess that's what I notice first thing as I woke up and go, oh, I'm not feeling great, is kind of like, what are those expectations? So just a little reminder on that, to take it easy on yourself. But as we'll see on Thursday when I come back, talk a little bit about potential pitfalls and dangers of the 9 attitudes, which I think is really interesting and useful to go over. So, thanks for showing up. Hi, Nadine. Today's topic is about tips and tricks, right? We've talked about what are some of the benefits of meditating every day. Neuroplasticity is one of them. If we have a regular practice, we will be able to incline our minds to the kind of peace that we have as we may meditate. Or maybe not even peace is the right word, because sometimes meditation isn't peaceful. The stability of coming back and being aware of things as they are, which is something that helps. I mean, meditation is concentration training. And so if you can train yourself to be more focused, you can have a little bit more control over yourself and be able to interrupt those difficult times. Instead of doing the thing that you would normally always do, you have a little bit more control over it. So if I want to be able to meditate every day, what are some of the things that I can do to help? So I think the number one most effective way to meditate every day is to pick a time that you're going to meditate. And I find that first thing in the morning is the easiest way to make sure that I'm going to do it. So that if you can have a time, and a lot of people will say, well, I don't have time to meditate. One of the things that you can do is just wake up 20 minutes earlier, or however long you plan to meditate. Just wake up a little bit earlier. And that's how I began my meditation practice. Was I had a cushion right next to my bed, and when I would wake up so I set my alarm to be 30 minutes earlier, and I would wake up, and wouldn't do anything else. I would just roll right out of bed onto the meditation cushion and start my practice for the day. And pros and cons to that, and that, like, maybe you're not fully alert, but honestly, at that time, most important for me was just to do the practice. What state of mind I'm in when I'm starting the practice wasn't as important as making sure that I got it done. So first thing in the morning was the way for me to do it. You don't have to do it first thing in the morning, but I think that it's really easy to make a bunch of excuses and go, well, here's why. This is more important. It's more important for me to do this thing, so I'm going to do that, and I'll meditate later. And then then you find, as the day goes on, the space that you haven't allocated the space to meditate, and then the day ends up going by completely, and by the end of the day you're like, you know what, I'm too tired, I'm just going to go to bed, and we end up skipping our meditation entirely. And this obviously isn't an effective way. And I'm not saying that it has to be first thing in the morning by any means. You can, pick maybe lunchtime is the best time to meditate. As long as you're consistent, the chance of you actually doing your meditation is a lot higher. So would encourage you to try to do that if you really want to establish a daily meditation practice. And I would say that first thing in the morning is probably the best way to do it, just to make sure that it gets done. So that's the first tip. The second tip, I'll have the second tip go right along with the first tip, which is don't judge yourself. If you miss your meditation time for some reason, if you can't do it, if you're not feeling well, and you're like, well, man, I just I don't think I can do it today, and or I'm not going to make my time slot today. Don't judge yourself. Don't give up just because you weren't able to make your time slot, or you weren't able to do the amount of meditation time that you wanted to do. So, as best you can, don't beat yourself up, because that's a surefire way to quit your meditation as well. Any new habit that you bring into your life is going to be hard to establish when you first start, and so that's why regular time can be really helpful. But also, hey, if you miss it, don't judge yourself, because that's going to be a stumbling block for you to do it the next time, right? And so each time we miss it, we go, oh man, I missed it yesterday, and then we can kind of beat ourselves up over not being able to make our meditation time. So try to meditate at the same time. Don't judge yourself harshly if you miss a day. And tip number 3, create an environment conducive to your meditation practice. And so, like I said, for my early days of meditating, I had a meditation cushion near my bed. And I would say I like, I've got around this table, you can only see my side of the table. I have 4 meditation cushions so that, people can sit together here on the floor, drink some tea, relax. The idea is to make an inviting environment for people to sit on the floor, and for me to sit on the floor, right? This is my living room. So when I walk by, I always see these 4 meditation cushions out, and it's a great reminder for me to meditate if I haven't done it today. So that's something that you can do to kind of make a trigger for yourself, so that you remember, you go, oh, right. So that it's impossible for you to forget about it, because you have so many signs and signals out around you that remind you to do it. So that's another way. So make a conducive environment. Ideally, this is my living room. I wouldn't necessarily recommend you meditate in your living room, because often there are a lot of distractions around, maybe make another place. And by the way, I have a meditation cushion in my bedroom also, so that's makes it easy for me to do my meditation there. So find a way to make the environment conducive. And why choose the bedroom is because I can shut the door, I can lock the door. It's kind of isolated from the rest of my home. And so, even if there's stuff going on outside my room, I'm less likely to get distracted by it and go, oh, I need to go panic. I need to go panic and go do something right now. I'd also recommend you to have your phone, and if you're going to use your phone, probably you use Insight Timer to track your meditation. If you're going to be using your phone to track your meditation, I would recommend you put it in Do Not Disturb mode. I have found that I forget to put my phone in Do Not Disturb mode sometime, and then messages come through which distract me and interrupt my meditation. Maybe you can also have some little things around your meditation area to make it feel more comfortable as well, to make you feel more in tune with your practice, and whatever way that's going to do it. And the last tip, I know it's getting to be time for us to actually do our meditation, is the last tip is to set an achievable goal. Don't try to meditate. If you've never meditated before, don't make your meditation time to be 30 minutes. Like, I've got to meditate 30 minutes every day. Start with 2 minutes. You can focus on your breath for 2 minutes. Or in fact, maybe you can't. You know, maybe maybe focusing on your breath. I think within a 2 minute period, I would have difficulty focusing on my breath for the entire 2 minutes. But maybe set 2 minutes as an early goal. Is just say, I'm going to sit and I'm going to do my best to focus on my breath for the next 2 minutes. And that can be a way to get started. So set achievable goals and then work up after that and start to see and explore what is the ideal meditation practice for you. Oh, and Jean, on being sick, well, Jean says, Insight Timer has meditations for when you get sick, and that's great too, right? So then we end up finding a way to meditate even though we aren't feeling at our best, and so we do get some of that benefit out of our practice. Okay, thanks for the comments, everybody. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to read those at the end of our practice today, but I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So let's sit comfortably. So I would encourage you to sit up straight as best you can. Elevate the hips. Sit on a meditation cushion if you have one. And see if you can focus on what it feels like to be breathing right now. As best you can, concentrate your attention fully on the physical sensation of breath. And today, for me, I'm going to focus on breath at my nostrils. And one of the reasons is that I'm having a particularly hard time breathing through my nostrils. So for me, that makes it easier to stay focused. I can feel the physical sensation of breath in my nostrils quite easily right now. I can feel the change in pressure in my nose. I can even feel my nostrils change shape a little bit as I go from the inhale to the exhale. Lower pressure in the nostrils to higher pressure. I can feel the air, especially on the exhale, the warmer air coming out of my nostrils, brushing across my upper lip. And then as my thoughts pull me away from my concentration on my breath, I notice that this has happened. I let go of those thoughts gently and return my attention to my nostrils, feeling each and every breath as it passes in and out. Keep it up, you're doing great. Keep the attention on the nostrils or on any sensation of breath as best you can as we keep working on our practice here, as we keep training our mind to concentrate on the present moment. As I inhale, I am fully aware of the feeling of inhaling. And as I exhale, I am fully aware of what it feels like to be exhaling. And no matter how fatigued you might feel as time goes on, or no matter how many times your mind has wandered away, see if you can redouble your effort and begin again now. What happened a minute ago is gone. Only now remains. Can you focus your attention now? Not get caught up on what has happened or what you expect is going to happen, but instead be with what is here, now, in this moment. And now I'll close our practice with 3 rings of the bell. All right. Thanks for practicing with me. Hope you had a good practice today. How did it go? Feel free to write in the chat. I know those 4 rings. I don't know if you heard the first ring. It was really quiet. Wasn't sure if you heard it, so I rang the bell an additional time. It's really, really quiet, this one. Okay. Have a look here at the chat. And back on timing, right? Cece says this time is good for me. which is, I think she says somewhere what time it is. 2:15 on the west coast of U.S. And right now it's 5:36 in the morning for me. So, and this is a good time for me. Thanks, Cece, for sharing. Um, and what's Sarah shares that she also has a cold and has the same thoughts. So I appreciate you. I appreciate that resonates with you, Sarah. I should be in bed. Dirk says I should be in bed. One of the things though is I go right. It's I mean, unless I'm really sick, I'm not gonna cancel this. I just know that there are some people who have signed up and want to show up, and I want to show up too. I mean, I want to be here and supportive of your mindfulness practice, and of course, this interaction supports my own practice. So I'm quite happy to be here, and I do cancel. I've canceled some events sometimes, but only if I'm really not well. And after this, right? Can go. I mean, get my kids up, get them ready for school, and then I can rest a little bit. So, I appreciate your care, Dirk. First thing in the morning is definitely the optimal time for me to make sure it happens, says Micah. Thanks for sharing that. Siffy says, and I wanted to talk about this one. Going back to meditation was quite difficult, but I took it one step at a time. I didn't rush it. I also set reminders. I literally set a goal to meditate 10 days and achieved a milestone on it. Congrats, Siffy. And I say that what I wanted to say about this one is that what can be really hard about coming back is that I've done something, I did it for a while, I excelled at it, I was good at it, and I stopped doing it, and now I'm coming back. One of the big issues is that we might judge ourselves based on how we used to be. I always love to use yoga practice as an example. If you stop doing yoga practice for a long time, or let's maybe people can relate to the gym. If you stop going to the gym for a while and you were lifting 10 kilograms, you're going to come back after a while and you're going to find that you can't lift 10 kilograms anymore. That the amount of weight that you need is going to be less. You're going to only be able to do 5 or whatever it is. And maybe we feel like meditation, because it's not a physical activity, would be different. And I always liken meditation to a gym for the mind, and I do believe that this, as we talked about neuroplasticity, it works like a muscle. If you train it and you do it often, then the ability to do it gets better. And if you stop doing something for a while, then this atrophies. So don't hold yourself to the same expectations that you had of yourself when you stop meditating. So, maybe I was meditating an hour a day and I come back and I'm only meditating for 5 minutes a day. You go, wow, oh, that feels so terrible. Like, why can't I meditate for an hour anymore? Like, meet yourself where you are. And if you are at a place where you can meditate 5 minutes a day, great. Maybe eventually you'll get back up to an hour. Maybe you won't. And just meet yourself where you are. And you'll see improvements. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about where you were. It's another thing, right? It's like if you were swimming, I'll use an example that I have, right? You were swimming 50 meters at a certain time when you were 18 years old, and now you're 46 years old. You're not going to be swimming. The chances are pretty good that you're not going to be swimming 50 meters in the same time that you did when you were 18 years old. you know. So like that, things are different. My body's different. My brain's different. Can I be okay with how things are now? And congratulations, Siffy, on being able to make 10 days in a row. That's really a great achievement. Yeah. I wondered if that teeny ring of the bell would count. I wanted it to count, but I wasn't 100% sure that it came through on the mic. Yes, thanks, Rachel, for noticing that. And um, I mean, it's practice, right? I ring the bell a lot. I know how to ring the bell in a quieter way. And that's it's important to make it not intrusive. In fact, I've listened to some of my old meditations that I've recorded on Insight Timer, and the bell's a bit loud. I feel like I don't give the listener of the meditation prior warning that the bell's coming. Judging all of my old meditations, but I've just kept them up exactly the way they are. Nice to have you back, Kathy. And breathing practice before the meditation would help focus mind in the present moment. Thanks, Kathy, and I think that can be really helpful. Talked about breath work a few times on these events. Breath work has a lot of application. I mostly spend the time on my lives talking about mindfulness. Breath work and mindfulness are different, like disciplines, right? Not that you aren't paying attention when you're doing breath work, but there's there's some nuanced difference between a pure mindfulness practice where we're just being with ourselves as we are, as opposed to having some activity. But that said, doing breath work before your mindfulness practice will affect what your mindfulness practice is like. Okay. Caesar says, kind of ups and downs for me. Thank you. And thanks everybody for being here. It's about time for me to sign off. Appreciate having you all here today. I wish you all the best. I hope you have some things that are going to be supportive of your practice as you do your best to keep your practice regular and see what happens. Explore you as you go through your daily practice and see what's going on, see what changes, see how your reactivity changes. See if you're able to pause more frequently after having done several days in a row of meditation. Thanks for your well wishes, Jean. I will take care of myself today for sure, and hopefully after some rest be back at 100%, whatever that means. I'm 100% of what I can be right now. Let's send our well wishes out. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone here watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. And may all life on earth, big and small, near and far, I wish us all to be happy and peaceful. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you in about 48 hours. I'll be better by then. I'm confident I'll be better by then. Let's do the thumbs up thing. And I'll talk about the potential pitfalls of the 9 attitudes, how we can misinterpret those, and how we can actually harm ourselves and others potentially by following those in a different way than they were intended. So look forward to sharing that with you. Until next time. Bye bye.